In a world where loyalty is rare and respect seems to be fading away, finding someone who embodies both is like stumbling on buried treasure. Let me tell you this, when a woman chooses to stand beside you through the storms of life, when she chooses to respect your vision, even when the world laughs at it, that is not ordinary. That is extraordinary. And if you ever come across a woman like that, you don't just take her for granted. You marry her as soon as you can. Think about it. Anyone can love you when life is easy. Anyone can smile with you when the sun is shining, the money is flowing, and the laughter never seems to end. But very few will choose to hold your hand when the nights get dark, when your dreams feel shaky, or when you're questioning yourself. A woman who truly loves and respects you will never make you feel like you're less than the man you are. Instead, she'll remind you of who you are even when you've forgotten yourself. There's something powerful about loyalty. It's not just about staying faithful in the romantic sense. It's about being faithful to the journey. A loyal woman sees your potential, she sees the man you are becoming, and she doesn't jump ship just because the process takes longer than expected. She doesn't ridicule you because you're not yet where you want to be. Instead, she says, "I'm here. I believe in you. Let's build this together." That kind of loyalty is priceless. And let's not forget respect. Respect is the foundation of any thriving relationship. You see, a woman may say she loves you, but if she does not respect you, her love will feel more like a burden than a blessing. A respectful woman doesn't belittle you when you fail, she doesn't compare you to other men, and she certainly doesn't strip you of your dignity. Instead, she speaks to you with honor, even when correcting you. She disagrees without destroying, she advises without humiliating, and she uplifts without overpowering. That is the kind of woman who adds value to your life. Gentlemen, pay attention to the little things. Notice how she talks about you when you're not around. Does she defend you or expose your weaknesses to the world? Notice how she reacts when you share your biggest dreams. Does she laugh and call them unrealistic, or does she encourage you and maybe even help you find ways to bring them to life? Respect shows up in everyday moments, when you walk into a room, when you share your opinions, when you're vulnerable. If she treats you with admiration instead of mockery, with kindness instead of contempt, then you have something many men spend their whole lives searching for. But let me be real with you. Loyalty and respect are not tested when everything is fine. They're tested in the moments of disappointment, in the arguments, in the financial struggles, in the times when life does not go according to plan. That's when you will truly see her heart. Will she stand in the fire with you, or will she abandon you to face it alone? Will she still speak of you with reverence when she's upset, or will she tear you down with her words? Those moments reveal everything. There's a saying that a loyal woman is like a lighthouse. No matter how fierce the storm, she remains steady, guiding you back home. That image should never leave your mind. If you find a woman who is that lighthouse for you, who respects the man you are even when the world doubts you, you don't wait. You don't second guess it. You hold on to her because she is rare. I want you to imagine something for a moment. Imagine you're chasing a dream and it's not easy. You're exhausted, you're discouraged, and you feel like giving up. But then she looks at you and says, "I believe in you. Keep going. I've got your back." Do you know what that does to a man's spirit? It ignites something powerful inside of him. That's not just love. That's respect. That's loyalty. And when you experience it, you'll realize it's one of the greatest gifts you could ever receive in this lifetime. And here's the truth. A woman who respects you will also teach the world how to treat you. Her loyalty to you sets the tone for everyone else around you. People will look at how she treats you, and they will follow her lead. That's the quiet power of a woman's respect. It strengthens you, it validates you, and it creates an atmosphere where you can thrive. So, if you've been wondering how to recognize the woman you should marry, start here. Don't be blinded by just beauty, by charm, or by fleeting feelings. Look deeper. Does she respect you even when you're vulnerable? Does she stand by you when life tests your strength? Does she believe in your vision even when you doubt it yourself? If the answer is yes, then don't waste time. A woman who gives you unshakable loyalty and deep respect is the kind of woman you build forever with. Because at the end of the day, loyalty and respect aren't just qualities of a good partner. They are the pillars of a lasting marriage. And if she gives you both without hesitation, then you have already found your treasure. So marry her. Have you ever noticed how some people can say, "I love you," 100 times, but you never really feel it? Then there are others who may not say the words often, but you feel it in everything they do. That is the difference between empty words and genuine care. And when you meet a woman whose love shows up in her actions, day in and day out, you are looking at someone who is rare. That is the kind of woman you marry without hesitation. Love is easy to claim, but care is hard to fake. You see, care is in the details. It's in the way she notices when you're tired even before you say a word. It's in the way she remembers the little things about you. The way you take your coffee, the kind of music that calms you down, the silence you need after a hard day. Genuine care isn't loud. It isn't boastful. And it doesn't need an audience. It's consistent, it's real, and it makes you feel seen. A nurturing woman doesn't just say, "I'm here for you." She proves it. She looks at your goals and says, "How can I help you get there?" She notices when your spirit is heavy and asks, "What's wrong?" She doesn't just wait for you to provide everything for her. Instead, she pours back into you. She takes care of your heart, your mind, and your soul in ways that no one else can. Think about the power of that. Imagine chasing your dream, carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, and then coming home to someone who lightens that load instead of adding to it. Imagine being with a woman who doesn't just take from you, but who gives her energy, her support, her encouragement, her presence. That's what nurturing looks like. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present. It's about creating a safe space for you to recharge, to grow, and to simply be yourself without fear of judgment. Now, don't get it twisted. Nurturing does not mean she has no life of her own. It doesn't mean she is weak or dependent. In fact, it's the opposite. A nurturing woman is strong, she is grounded, and she knows how to pour into others because she is already full within herself. Her care doesn't come from desperation, it comes from abundance. She chooses to give because that is who she is. And when a woman like that chooses you, you should understand the magnitude of that gift. Let me paint a picture. You've had the worst day, everything has gone wrong, and you feel like giving up. You come home, shoulders heavy, mind racing. She doesn't dismiss your pain. She doesn't make you feel silly for feeling the way you do. Instead, she listens. She lets you vent. She reminds you of your strength, and she reassures you that tomorrow is another chance. In that moment, she is not just your partner. She is your safe haven. And that is what every man deserves. A nurturing woman has a way of turning a house into a home. It's not about the decor or the furniture, it's about the energy she brings. Her presence fills the space with warmth, with comfort, with peace. And no matter what chaos the outside world throws at you, you know that when you walk through that door, you are walking into an environment of love and care. That kind of security is something money cannot buy. And here's something important: her care goes beyond the emotional. She takes an interest in your health, your habits, your future. She encourages you to take care of yourself, to eat well, to rest, to grow spiritually, mentally, and physically. She wants you at your best, not just for her, but for you. That's how you know it's real, because her nurturing is not selfish. It's not about control. It's about love in its purest form. And let's not forget, care shows up when it's least convenient. It's easy to be sweet when life is fun, but real nurturing comes through in the sacrifices. When she chooses to stay by your side when you're sick, when she wakes up earlier to make your day smoother, when she gives up her own comfort so that you can be more at ease, that's when you know her love is not just a performance. That's when you know it's genuine. Some men overlook these things. They chase after beauty, status, or excitement, and they miss the quiet power of a nurturing woman. Don't make that mistake. Beauty fades, excitement comes and goes, but genuine care will stand the test of time. It will be there when you're gray, when you're weak, when you're no longer the man the world claps for. A nurturing woman will still look at you with eyes full of admiration and love, because she never loved you for what you could give her. She loved you for who you are. So if you ever meet a woman who cares for you, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard, if you ever meet a woman who pours into you without keeping score, who makes you feel like the best version of yourself, who nurtures your dreams and your spirit, you hold on to her. Because that kind of love is rare, and that kind of woman is worth marrying. So marry her. Have you ever met someone who could either make your world feel like a battlefield or like a sanctuary, depending on how they carry themselves? The truth is, the difference between a chaotic relationship and a fulfilling one often comes down to one thing: emotional intelligence. When you find a woman who doesn't fuel the fire, but instead knows how to calm the storm, that's not just attractive, it's life-changing. See, beauty may catch your eye, Passion may draw you in, but peace is what keeps you. And peace doesn't just appear out of nowhere, it comes from emotional intelligence. A woman who understands herself deeply, who can recognize her emotions without letting them control her, and who can extend that same grace to you, that's the kind of woman who creates a safe space where love can truly thrive. Let's be honest, life is stressful enough. The world outside your door will test you in every way, your patience, your energy, your strength. The last thing you need is to come home to a war zone. If your partner can't manage her emotions, if every disagreement turns into a battlefield, it drains you. But when you meet a woman who values peace more than pride, who listens instead of attacks, who seeks to understand instead of to dominate, that's when you've found someone worth holding on to. Emotional intelligence is not about pretending everything is fine. It's not about avoiding conflict. It's about handling conflict with maturity. Imagine you make a mistake, and instead of lashing out or humiliating you, she takes a breath, communicates her feelings clearly, and focuses on finding a solution. That doesn't just protect the relationship, it also protects your dignity, and that right there is priceless. A woman with peace-giving energy has a presence that changes the atmosphere. You can walk into the room stressed, overwhelmed, and on edge, and somehow she has this way of calming you down without even saying much. Sometimes it's her words, sometimes it's her silence, sometimes it's just the way she looks at you with reassurance that says, "We'll figure this out." That kind of energy is rare. And here's something powerful to think about. Love grows in environments of safety, not fear. When you know you can share your struggles, your weaknesses, and your failures without being torn apart, it makes you want to open up more. It makes you want to give more. It makes you want to be the best version of yourself because you know your heart is in safe hands. That is what emotional intelligence creates, a safe haven where love can deepen. Now let's flip it for a moment. Think about the opposite. Think about being with someone who doesn't have control over her emotions. Every disagreement becomes a screaming match, every small mistake gets exaggerated, and peace is nowhere to be found. That's exhausting. You'll find yourself walking on eggshells, trying not to set her off. And in time, that doesn't just damage the relationship, it damages you. That's why you must value a woman who brings peace more than one who brings excitement but chaos. A woman with true emotional intelligence is not afraid to be vulnerable. She can express her feelings without blaming, without attacking, without trying to win an argument. She doesn't see you as an opponent. She sees you as a teammate. She understands that when there's a problem, the goal is not to prove who is right, but to protect the bond you share. That perspective alone sets her apart from the crowd. And peace-giving energy doesn't mean she is passive or weak. In fact, it takes incredible strength to remain calm in the face of conflict, to choose patience over pride, to choose understanding over ego. A woman who does this consistently shows that she has mastered herself, and someone who has mastered themselves is capable of building a lasting relationship. Let me give you a picture. Imagine you come home after a long day, you're irritable, frustrated, and you snap at her without meaning to. A woman without emotional intelligence would snap back, escalating the tension. But a woman with emotional intelligence would pause. She might say, "I can see you're tired. Let's talk after you've rested." That one simple act could prevent hours of unnecessary conflict. That's what peace-giving energy looks like. It's not avoiding the issue, it's knowing the right time and way to deal with it. The truth is, a woman who values peace will protect the relationship from unnecessary battles. She knows which fights are worth having and which ones should be let go. She knows that words spoken in anger can't be taken back, so she chooses her words carefully. She doesn't use your vulnerabilities against you. She doesn't weaponize your past mistakes. She builds you instead of breaking you. And here's the beautiful part: peace is contagious. When you're with a woman like this, you find yourself calmer, more focused, more resilient. Her energy affects you in ways you don't even realize. You sleep better, you think clearer, you love deeper. Because she makes your world lighter, not heavier. So don't just look for a woman who makes your heart race. Look for the one who brings you peace when your world feels heavy. Look for the one who can manage her emotions with wisdom, who can nurture the relationship with calm strength, and who can remind you that love doesn't have to be loud and chaotic to be powerful. Because if you find a woman who brings emotional intelligence and peace into your life, you found a treasure. And that is the kind of woman you marry. So marry her. Have you ever noticed how two people can love each other deeply, but still struggle endlessly because they're not walking in the same direction? Love alone is never enough. The truth is, relationships thrive when two people don't just share feelings, but share values, and when their visions for the future align. If you find a woman who doesn't just love you, but sees life through a lens that complements yours, you've found something powerful. Love without shared values can be like trying to build a house on two separate foundations. You'll always be pulling in different directions. One person wants peace, the other thrives on drama. One believes in faithfulness, the other plays games. One dreams of building a legacy, the other is only living for the moment. No matter how strong the attraction is, if the values don't align, cracks will eventually show. But when you meet a woman whose principles reflect your own, everything flows more naturally. Conversations become easier, decisions become smoother, and the relationship becomes a partnership instead of a battlefield. Think about the big things: honesty, loyalty, family, faith, work ethic. These are not just random preferences, they are the core of who you are. When you meet a woman who shares those same pillars, you won't have to constantly explain yourself or defend what matters to you. She will understand you, not because she's trying to, but because she truly believes in the same things. That's when you realize you're not just in love, you're in alignment. And alignment doesn't just happen in the present, it stretches into the future. Imagine this. You want to build a family, you want stability, you want to leave behind a legacy. But she doesn't want children, she doesn't believe in long-term commitment, and her idea of happiness is completely different from yours. That gap will eventually tear you apart. No matter how good the chemistry feels today, that's why alignment matters. A woman who shares your vision for the future doesn't just walk beside you in the present. She walks with you into tomorrow. One of the most beautiful things you can experience is sitting down with a woman you love and realizing that your dreams don't just coexist. They complement each other. She wants growth, you want growth. She wants to build, you want to build. She believes in leaving the world better than she found it, and so do you. In those moments, love feels bigger than just two people. It feels like a mission, a calling, something greater than yourselves. And that's the kind of partnership that stands the test of time. Let me tell you something important: differences will always exist. No two people will ever be identical. But when the differences are about preferences, they can be worked out. When the differences are about values, that's when the real problems begin. That's why you must pay attention early on. Don't just be captivated by her beauty or her charm. Ask yourself, does she see life the way I do? Does she want what I want? Do her values strengthen mine or contradict them? And let's talk about what happens when values align. Trust deepens because you both prioritize honesty. Respect grows because you both hold loyalty as sacred. Decisions become easier because you don't have to convince each other of the basics. You're already on the same page. And when challenges come, and they will, you'll find yourselves leaning on the same foundation instead of tearing each other apart. But when values don't align, everything becomes a battle. If you value hard work and she values shortcuts, resentment will build. If you believe in faithfulness and she flirts with boundaries, your trust will crumble. If you want peace and she thrives on chaos, your spirit will never rest. This is why shared values aren't just important, they are non-negotiable. Future alignment is just as vital. A relationship can feel perfect today, but if your visions for tomorrow don't match, that perfection will fade. If you dream of building wealth and creating a stable future, but she's content living recklessly without thought for tomorrow, you'll be frustrated. If you desire marriage and family, but she doesn't see that in her story, heartbreak is inevitable. Love is not enough to close that gap. But when she sees the future the same way you do, you won't just be building a relationship, you'll be building a legacy. Picture this. You're sitting together, talking about life 5, 10, even 20 years from now. She doesn't just nod politely when you speak, she lights up, because she's already envisioned it too. She wants to grow with you, she wants to build with you, she wants to walk the same path. And in that moment, you realize this is not just a partner for today, this is a partner for life. So many people waste years in relationships that are filled with love but empty of alignment. Don't make that mistake. Don't ignore the red flags of clashing values or misaligned futures. Because when you find a woman who truly shares your values and aligns with your vision, you'll understand what peace in love really feels like. A woman like that doesn't just love you, she multiplies you. She doesn't just walk with you, she grows with you. And when you find her, you don't let her slip away. So Mary,